Hey, here we are again, America. Deer Hunter DVM coming back at you again. December 5th is in the books. We had a dark to dark sit in the timber, laying after that old typical we call Sub-Zero. I got in pretty clean this morning to one of the lone wolves I have in there on an oak ridge, and I didn't see much right off the bat. I saw just a pinch of chasing in the deep down in there. I couldn't really tell what was going on, and about 9 o'clock, I had this little spike buck come in there, bedded in behind me, like 15 yards, just laying there chewing his cud, doing his thing, just resting in the sun. And I was standing up in the stand, filming him, racking focus and making it look right. After I got my fill of a spike buck chewing his cud in his bed, as far as footage goes, and I just shut the camera off, turned around, sat back down. Wasn't even thinking to try and be covert. I reached for my phone, and I look up, and there's a buck standing there about 50 yards that stood up out of his bed. And he's a buck with a broken back leg that we call Mick Foley. Mick is I think, maybe a 4. He may be a 5. He's got a real gnarly little rack, and he's got a dangling broke back leg, and he's been packing it around for a year. And I would have liked to have taken that buck and filled my tag on him, even though there's much larger candidates in there, just doing the humane thing. But he saw me. He didn't smell me, but he saw me bigger than hell and took off hauling ass across Hell's Half Acre on 3 legs, which, man, it's like the 3rd time I bumped him by accident. He beds in there, I'm certain of that, because he's safe. He's got a lot of cover to hide in with that bum back leg. You think he doesn't get around very well, but I've got pictures of him like 1.75 miles, 2 miles from here. So he's pretty resilient. I would have liked to have taken him, though. The best part about the day was midday snacks. I brought me a little sandwich tote, had me a turkey sandwich, some carrots, some mixed nuts, some Slim Jims off that buck I killed earlier this year. Man, it was a great snacking day. A little bit of coffee. It was great. After I had lunch, I dropped down in the creek basin and worked my way south to another set that I have in there, closer to where I think Sub-Zero might bed. And I got up in there pretty clean. Got camera set up, everything. About 2:30, I had 2 does come right by. One of those does was like 15 yards, and she looked up and kind of picked me out of the tree. Not very high there on that stand, but she didn't really spaz too bad, just didn't care for it. And her and that other doe with her kind of took off feeding down into that creek basin I was just in. And later in the evening, I saw that same lone spike buck kind of dogging him and pushing him a little bit. So hearing some reports, the guy's still seeing a little bit of rutting activity. I saw just a pinch today. But what I did see was bucks bedding, and that was the idea why I was in there. Is I feel like I'm in a buck bedding area, and that's why I want to be there. And sure enough, I had 2 bucks bed within 50 yards of me, so I was close. I really wish I'd have got a shot off on Mick Foley there, that buck with the busted leg. I kicked myself in the butt because I just took myself out of the hunt and lost concentration for a little bit, and it killed me. But that's part of it. I'm really mad at myself for that, but there's a much bigger deer in there, but I still would have liked to have taken him and put him out of his misery, so to speak. The weather today, I want to give it a 10. It was excellent. It was a cool morning. Got up to hovering around 50, but it was an excellent day. Bluebird sky, very light wind, just phenomenal day of field. Deer activity, I'm going to give it a 3. I saw bits and pieces of some deer activity, but it was pretty boring. Kind of mentally wore on me for a while, but I went ahead and left a bunch of my gear in the tree, and it's like a 45-minute hike in through that creek basin to get back into that stand, and I'm going to give it one more honest try there, and see what we can get done. So I hope everybody had a good day of field. Hope everybody had a nice, safe start to their second gun season, and maybe a bit better than I did. I had excellent snacks. That was good. Snacks are always good. All day sits are difficult, especially when deer movement's predicted to be slow, and I figured it would be kind of slow today post-rut and warmer temperatures, but at least I had some good snacks. I didn't make a goof on that one buck, just totally took my head out of the game there, but part of it. So I'll be back in the morning. Catch you guys later. We're going back in after him.